Physical versus digital. It has been a discussion for a while, both with significant pros and cons. With physical games, you just have it. It's in your hands, it's an actual object you can put on your shelf, and after they go out of print, many of them will still be out there in circulation, but chances are, depending on the game in question, after a while, they can become very difficult to find, leading to them becoming rare and expensive. Also, if your disc or cartridge gets damaged, well, it's damaged. There's only so much you can do. Digital games, on the other hand, is just software on your system. You can have as many digital games installed on the same device, assuming you have the storage space, and some companies allow you to download on multiple platforms owned by them. And these games can be deleted and re-downloaded infinitely, so you'll always have it. Or will you? What would happen if you're locked out of the account that you purchased it with, or the services providing those games is discontinued? Something to think about with either way you take your games. On computers, games are more commonly distributed by services, such as Steam, which is an entirely digital store, and sometimes games just come as individual launchers or installers directly from their publishers. Heck, a lot of newer computers or laptops don't even have disk drives, even though physical copies of PC games are a lot less prominent nowadays. In the 90s and early 2000s, it was more common for games to come on CD-ROM discs. Although a lot of these games were more simplistic by nature. I remember a lot of point-and-click puzzle-solving games from when I was little. Some console games had ports to PC, but due to their limitations of their era, they themselves would have limitations or compromises. But throughout the years, PC would grow out of its limitations, becoming to most the definitive platform for playing games, as its version of games would be the most advanced version over consoles. And then there's now where, well, let's be honest, the platform doesn't really make a difference no matter what it's on. They're all pretty much the same, with some exceptions on a per-game basis, like mobile titles and Nintendo Switch, where graphical instances have to be toned down. Ain't it amazing how things change over time? Anyway, over the past few years, I ended up acquiring a bunch of second-hand physical PC games, and I thought it would be fun to take a look at them in depth. Half-Life 2 came out in 2004 and is one of Valve's most critically acclaimed titles, one that a lot of people recommend, and also is the basis of the sandbox game Gmod. Can I say no to a game where I get to play as myself? And for that matter, multiple games reuse its game engine. So one day, while at an op shop, which I love going to, you never know what kind of gaming treasures you may find, I came across a boxed version of Half-Life 2 for $3. How could I say no?
Yeah.
And it comes on 5 CD discs? It seems the game itself is almost 7 gigabytes and the maximum capacity of a CD is 700 megabytes? That can't be right. Okay, I guess depending on several factors, different types of CDs have different capacities, but this was 2004 after all, so no wonder it's on 5 discs. Mine has only 4. So yes, whoever donated this game to an op shop neglected to include Disc 1, which is required to both boot, install, and run the game. Yep. Alternatively, there is a CD key code on the back of Disc 2 that allows you to activate this game on Steam, and the previous owner already did that. In other words, this box of CDs is useless to me! Although, it does not cost much on Steam, so what am I complaining about? Skyrim, another critically acclaimed game I've never played. It came out on the 11th of the 11th, 2011. Why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, that's right! That's the day I turned 12! What? Look at this branding. Games for Windows. I wonder when that logo is from. Open the game up, you got yourself the full game disc, and this big old map! Breath of the Wild's world is still bigger. Takes like a while to install, and once it does, it demands you type in the Steam key. Alright, I guess Steam verification is required. The key is here on the inside of the case, and it's already been activated. Okay, so this physical copy will always be tied to Steam, and somebody else has got this sitting in their Steam library, making this thing also useless to me. That's actually quite a shame. This is dumped on you right after you've already installed 5 to 12-ish gigabytes. I don't know, you can't access it anyway. Best you can do is just buy it on Steam too, I guess. I'm starting to see a pattern. Lego Batman! Wow, that's some intense nostalgia. I had the Batboat, Batwing, and Batmobile, and they were awesome! Although it's a sad thing to know as you grow up, your favorite LEGO sets will dissolve into 2 large tubs filled with bricks and pieces that once was. I miss you! I never played the console version of LEGO Batman. I did have the DS version, which I actually recently started replaying. Still awesome, and always will be. But a few days ago, I came across this version for Windows, with the same Windows branding as Skyrim, in this strangely thicker box. It was $1, so I thought, why not? And to my absolute surprise, unlike Skyrim, there is no Steam requirement at all. You just pop the disc in, install it, and you're playing it. Although once it's installed, you can only play it when the disc is inserted, but that's fair game in all honesty. Uh-oh. I don't know why this is, but despite my PC being up to spec, there have been 1 or 2 games that cause my power supply to make whining and wheezing noises. It's not as bad as the other ones, but after I changed the video settings to the highest resolution, the noise stopped completely. This is the same version of the game that was available for Wii, PS3, and 360, which I never got to try, so that's pretty cool. It looks great, it's just as fun as any other LEGO game. Assassin's Creed, another series I never really got into. Rather than the games for Windows branding, it has Ubisoft branding. Is it Ubi or Ubi? Nobody I talk to can seem to agree on that. I wonder, what's with all these chunky boxes? It's just one disc, and... What is this? What is the point of this? How do I get this out? I'm afraid of breaking this. Once it's in, you have the option to register it with Ubisoft, but it's not mandatory, and you can install it and play the game freely, but wow, you hear this? It's the power supply again, and whenever I play this, I'm kind of afraid to keep going more than 5 minutes. I don't know why this happens. Another game this keeps happening on is Spark the Electric Jester 2. For that game, I can't help but noticing this unlocked frame rate. Fun game though. Back to Assassin's Creed, the game runs well for a game from 2008, its settings can go pretty high, but the sound of my PC is still disturbing. Sonic Heroes! Yeah, did you think I could get through a single video without mentioning Sonic? Sonic Heroes was one of Sonic's first multi-platform games, releasing on all 3 of the available consoles at the time, with it being ported to PC the following year. And the PS2 version was released on PS3 in 2012, but not for Americans for whatever reason. I was at JB Hi-Fi one day in 2017, and saw a brand new sealed copy of Sonic Heroes for PC, with the branding from 5 Star Games. From what I understand, they have licensed some Sega games to be re-released, although I can't find any of it on their website. The game comes on 2 discs. Disc 2 boots and runs the game and includes all the music and movie files, while Disc 1 contains all the game data to install and also includes DirectX, as well as having a bonus features button that gives you wallpapers and mouse pointers of each character. Once installed and it's on your computer, you can continue to use it freely without the disc. Look at these settings the game gives you. The option to play at 15 FPS. No thank you. But the resolution can't go beyond 720p and you're locked at 4:3. And this is probably not a great way to map your controller. Supposedly this is one of the more stable versions of the game, but there is a glitch that makes team battles take forever. There are no stick controls for the camera, and by extension the first person view is gone. The cutscenes are more compressed, or at least they seem like it, but there is a mod that replaces the video files with the files from the Xbox version, which are a much higher quality, and there is another mod that enables widescreen and gives you access to your computer's full resolution. There's online documentation for differences and recommended mods for improving this game's experience, which I will leave a link to below. This game isn't even on Steam. Why isn't it on Steam? I've been playing this game for a while on my second channel, feel free to stop by and watch. Sonic 3D Blast, or Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. When I picked this up from an op shop, I also picked up this cool controller. It doesn't work at all. This box, that's a lot. But I find it funny how being compatible with Windows XP is a selling point. But with that said, it will not boot on Windows 10. When I first got it, I tried it out on a Windows XP laptop, but that laptop is dead now. I also remember it forcing your resolution down to the size of the game's window, and when you closed it, you'd have to manually change back the screen settings on your desktop. files on this disc date back to 1997 with the EXE at 2004, seeing as it was a re-release, so I'm not really surprised. 5-Star Games have a version of 3D Blast 2, but I have to assume it's been updated to work with Windows 10. But there is a workaround. Sega PC Reloaded is an application from Korama, I hope I'm saying that right, that works as a launcher for these 4 PC ports of Sega games that were originally intended for Windows 95 or 98. As well as patches in more options and configs and has proper scaling and full screen settings with controller support. Sonic 3D Blast / Sonic 3D Flicky's Island was originally made for the Mega Drive / Genesis, seriously, what is with all the regional name changes, this is silly, by Traveler's Tales, the same developers that made the LEGO Batman game I showed earlier. John Burton, the original developer of the game, on his channel Game Hut discusses a lot about the behind the scenes of the game and even made a director's cut fixing many of its problems and adding new features. The game also came out on the Sega Saturn with improved graphics, sounds, and more details, and for whatever reason an entirely different soundtrack, but hey, we have these mole guys! And it was again ported from the Sega Saturn to PC. For the most part, the game is mostly the same. The main menu is missing, and music can't change during a level, even if you get a power-up such as invincibility or speed shoes. The opening is much more compressed, and you cannot skip it. The biggest difference, however, is the special stages. The original game had this with scaling sprites, and the Saturn version had special stages provided by Sonic Team, possibly a leftover from the Saturn prototypes of Sonic Adventure as it uses the same assets and animations from Sonic Jam. But the PC version has... Ew, you can't even compare this. What do we have here? You know, this deserves a video of its own. Until then, stay tuned, like the video if you enjoyed it, share it to those who you think may also enjoy it, and remember, stay awesome.